Hello, my name is Leptos, and welcome to this video showcasing the Airport Override Checker for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 tool. So this is going to be a very quick video, just showing the basic functionality of how you use it, and also answering some questions that people have when they use it in conjunction with the very popular Addon Linker tool. So when you first run it, you'll see that it will have auto-populated your community and stream packages folder, unless you're an advanced user and you need to change those for some reason. The basic auto detection should work quite all right. So then the default option is going to be just to check for mission overrides. This is not going to change anything about your flight simulator installation. And before we get going, I just want to put out there a little disclaimer. You might see the names of certain scenery creators or other add-on creators. This video is not an endorsement of any of those specific creators, nor is it sponsored by any of them. It's just here to demonstrate this tool and any custom scenery in order to demonstrate how you use this tool. So if we click run, pretty quickly, we see that it has listed a number of default airports, or airports rather, that there's stream packages for. Those could be airports from the marketplace or whatever. That you also have scenery add-ons or airport mods or whatever you want to call them in your community folder. So I have a scenery add-on for Frankfurt, for Leipzig, for San Francisco, for SeaTac, for a variety of airports, right? And so the problem is that if I were to go into Flight Simulator 2024 now, I don't know if I would see my custom scenery or the default scenery or a mix of the two. Um, so the way to work around that is you want to pick one of these three options, add override, right? And the I'm gonna go over and explain what each of these three options are. So the first one is links recommended. Links is what links means is that it will essentially take your modded scenery and create kind of an advanced shortcut, um, a symbolic link as it's called, uh, from that modded scenery. From in your community folder, it will create a link named what the default first party or stream marketplace, whatever airport is called, but it will link to your custom scenery add-on. And what this does is if you have a link called this FS24 Sober Airport EDDF Frankfurt, um, but it's actually linking to your mod that's also in your community folder, that makes Flight Simulator think that, oh, the user has an updated version of this, so I'm going to use that instead. And now your concern might be, but if I add a link that's called this and it's linking to my mod that's also in my community folder, doesn't that leave my airport, my custom airport in my community folder now essentially twice? And although it might appear to be the case, we've thoroughly tested this. Both I, as a developer, and other folks from the community have thoroughly tested that this is not a problem. This works as intended, and hence why it's the recommended option. And so if I just click run, I'll see that now I get the same output, except every time for each airport, I get a little info saying create a link override for this in the community folder. If we go to Addons Linker and check out what that looks like, we'll notice that there's a bunch of these now external links with this cyan color, teal, or whatever you want to call it. Um, so these external links, right? You'll notice the name, the folder name is FS24 Sober Airport DDDF Frankfurt, but then the title is Airsoft Frankfurt Airport, right? Or for a hair, it's I mean, it's not, the title isn't helpful, but you'll notice the creator is FS Dream Team instead of, Asobo. And this, not to worry, this is exactly what I was talking about. This shows you that the links were created correctly. They have the name of the original stream packages, however, they point to your modded scenery. So if you were to start Flight Simulator now, you're gonna get you're gonna fool Flight Simulator essentially into thinking that these stream packages exist in your community folder. Instead, it will not read them from, it will not try to stream them, it will not try to read them from the stream packages cache, it will just read your mods from the community folder. Now, some people ask, okay, so now that I've done this, should I go ahead and unlink the original airport since I've like linked it in? And the answer is no, you don't want to do that, because the link for this actually points to this, and it's okay that both coexist, right? If you decide to get a different Frankfurt airport, and you don't want to use the airsoft anymore, what you'll want to do is first remove non-content XML overrides, right? So if I run that, it has removed all the overrides. And if I refresh, they're now all gone, right? You want to swap it out, say, disable this and pick a different Frankfurt add-on. And then once you enable that different Frankfurt add-on, in this case, I don't have another one, so I'm just going to enable the same. You want to go back to the override checker and add the links again, right? And if we go and refresh, we'll see that, yep, here they are again. Okay, so that's links, right? Let's start fresh. I'm going to remove all the overrides. Now, what are empty folders? Empty folders was the first community suggested solution to the fact that stream packages seem to be all in the sim at the same time as the third party scenery. And some people suggested that, hey, if you create just an empty folder with the name of the stream package in the community folder, then Flight Simulator won't load anything from that stream package, kind of like a link, except the folder was empty. So Flight Simulator was fooled into thinking that, oh, this stream package actually has nothing for me to stream, so it wouldn't stream anything. Now, some people have said that this doesn't work reliably, that in some cases, Flight Simulator will still stream even if you have an empty folder. So that's why it's not necessarily recommended. It's there if for some reason you want to use it. But for most intents and purposes, I would recommend you use links instead. It has been proven to work quite a lot more reliably. Um, Now, the last option is disabling Content.xml. And what this does, honestly, I wouldn't hesitate to say that really this is the recommended option, with one caveat. So, the, Content.xml is a file that exists in your Flight Simulator app data, application data, that essentially has all of the stream packages as well as the community packages in it, and it allows users to individually disable either community packages or first party airports, marketplace airports, stream package airports. This is the same as when you go to my library in Flight Simulator, right? Flight Simulator didn't ship with a way to disable stream packages or any marketplace add-ons you had. Flight Simulator 2024 didn't anyway. They added that later on the December 6th, December 10th update. It was an update that released around then. And this kind of replicates that behavior. You could go into game and say and find this package just like you would in 2020 if you played Flight Simulator 2020, and you could disable it there. You could, in 2020 we would then install them, in 2024 we disable them because they're not even installed, they're being streamed, right? So this will do that for you. Instead of you having to go into the game, finding each of these individual airports and disabling them one by one, this will do that for you in the Content.xml file. And if you go into the game, that will be represented in my library. And then you can go ahead and re-enable any of them if you want. Now, the only reason I hesitate to say this is the recommended option is because I don't really have an easy way of undoing the changes that I made to your Content.xml through the tool, right? That's why the last option says remove non-content XML overrides. And the reason that is because um you might have disabled other airports that aren't just the ones that this tool finds, right? And I don't want to re-enable all disabled packages when you decide to undo the overrides for whatever reason you might decide to do that. Say you tried a scenery add-on, you decide you didn't like it, frame rate wasn't good enough, or it was outdated or whatever, and you want to go back to the default Asobo slash Microsoft Airport, right? And you want to remove the override for it. There's no easy way to do that because again, I don't know really which packages you have disabled yourself through my library, which packages have been disabled through this tool. So there's no one button way, one click way to kind of undo any overrides done through Content.xml. However, I will show you that if we do it like this, and this time it says disable stream package in Content.xml, right? If I look for files called Content.xml, and I can open the one from my store edition of 2024. Ignore the fact that I have two 2024s installed as a developer of 2024 add-ons. I have to have both the Steam and the Microsoft Store version installed. Um, so in the Microsoft Store version, which is the main one I use, I'll notice now that if I search for user disabled, right, I'll find um, all of the ones that were disabled by the tool, and then some other ones. Uh, for example, this Vision Jet that I never disabled myself, but it was disabled by Microsoft because it's a 2020 aircraft that I bought in the marketplace. And so they realized, oh, we can't just stream those down to the user before we've confirmed they actually work with 2024. But this is just to indicate that there's some user disabled here that were disabled by Airport Override Checker, and then there's some disabled here that were disabled by the mere fact uh, that I bought them in the market, and they're 2020 mod. So they are disabled, but they got disabled by the game, right? So with all that in mind, then, um, with all that in mind, we need to know how can we undo these changes if we need to. Well, one way you can do it is you can manually edit this file, and if you want to reactivate the 2024 Asobo Frankfurt Airport, you can just say activate it and save. Or if you don't want to edit this manually, another thing you can do is you can look for uh, you can look in the same folder as this content XML file, and you'll notice that there's now another content XML file, but with the extension backup and then a date time. And what this is, it was created by the tool, and it allows you to easily undo these changes. I can just delete this file and then rename this file to just remove everything after the .xml. And then if I run the check again, I'll notice that it tells me, yeah, I need all these overrides, right? So this is how you would undo that. It keeps a backup so that you can easily restore from it if you decide that you don't feel comfortable undoing the changes or manually, or that you don't want to use my library to enable disable stuff. Again, because this works in with the same methodology that my library does, this is really the recommended way. And I might change what is the one that has recommended, because then anything you disable through here, you can easily re-enable through my library again inside the game. It's just because I don't have an easy way to undo that. That's why I don't have the recommended tag on it. But so yeah, and if you disable it through content.xml, you'll notice that there's no external links. There's nothing for you to nothing confusing in the add-on linker. Um, they are disabled in a way where you don't have a bunch of things in the add-on linker that don't really uh that might confuse you. Now, if we were to add overrides empty folders, again, they would show up as just folders with this blue, purplish blue color, same as before. The stream packages would exist in here as folders instead of external links. But that's again, not to confuse you. And if you add empty folders, again, you can remove them using this option. But I'm tempted to just remove empty folders because it doesn't work consistently. I don't know that anyone is still using it. It was just the very first methodology we tried. So yeah, hopefully this explained what you need to do to get your custom scenery not to conflict with any first party scenery, marketplace scenery that you don't want. And yeah, if you need more help, you can post in the comments of the add-on listing in flightsim.2, or you can join the Discord and ask questions there. I'm pretty responsive, and I try to check in fixes to user reported bugs as quickly as possible. So feel free to hit me up on there as well. Thanks for watching, and yeah, enjoy flight simming.